Tirzah, hello, hello. I'm telling you, I'm so excited about your class on ancestral healing through the wisdom of the Kabbalah. I just, first of all, I think the whole idea is brilliant. And so it's a pleasure to spend a few minutes here just introducing the class. But I'm going to start by asking you, what is the wisdom of the Kabbalah? And take it from there.
Okay. Hi, Carolyn. I'm thrilled to be back. I'm thrilled to dive in, and thank you for this portal that we really need right now. What is Kabbalah? First of all, it's Kabbalah in the
Kabbalah.
modern Israeli
Okay.
Hebrew,
Thank
or
you.
it's Kabbalah. It's you can't say it wrong.
Well, you could.
Is it? Kabbalah is this ancient and still evolving body of mystical wisdom, a psycho-spiritual system that is thousands of years old, purportedly attributed to Abraham, the patriarch, and
Mm.
Sarah, the matriarch, the parents of all monotheistic religions. I think that that's a way of saying it is universal in nature. It teaches about the soul's journey. It reminds us through a beautiful psychic maps and archetypes what we're doing here, what we're doing here on Earth, about the journey of the soul, about the reinclusion of divine feminine wisdom, about the mystical marriage of the divine masculine and feminine inside of us. It's another language, really, that is extremely archetypal. And I'll tell you the truth. I'm going to just be unfiltered here. That months ago, I didn't know why I was guided to. It felt like such a strong hand. Teach this, teach about ancestral healing through this lens of Kabbalah, and it only became tragically clear weeks later, after the macabre events of October 7th and the horrendous war that's ensued, and all the global insecurity that we're all feeling, why this approach is so crucial right now. Because this course and this whole body of knowledge, which is just a small taste, but it's a good beginning, is about awakening our higher knowledge.
Yes.
It's what we call in Hebrew, the ancient language, Da'at Elyon, which means very distinctly different than intellectual knowledge or facts on the ground. Da'at Elyon is something else. It's direct experiential learning and knowing. It's like knowing in what we say, the knowing in the kishkas,
Yeah.
knowing in your
It's soul knowledge. It's direct soul knowledge.
it's somatic, it's heart knowing, it's that yes felt sense. And while I'm saying this, let me just give a little teaching from Kabbalah, which is thousands of years old. All of this is so ancient, which makes me feel very grounded and rooted. And I hope it does for many people who want to join us. So there's this marvelous teaching that each of us, when we come in to the world, when we're on our way to the world, into this life, we're in our mother's womb. Each of us had cosmic consciousness, each of us. And we saw from one end of the universe to the other, we saw how it all fits together. We saw the unity of reality. We saw the purpose of our soul coming to Earth. Why, particularly to this family, why to these parents, why at this particular time, why in this body, etc. And the rabbis teach that exactly 30 days before we're born, clop, the angel comes and clops us on the, like right here, like socks us in the mouth, which is why we have this indentation on our upper lip. Did you ever wonder about that? I think this midrash is in answer to that. Why do we have this little fingerprint here? And that's because it's the angel's fingerprint, so to speak, this indentation. Because when he knocks us there, we forget everything.
The river of forgetfulness.
That's right. It's another version of that. We're born as if we have a clean slate, but of course we really don't. All of this wisdom is dormant inside of us and needs to be woken up again. And as we grow up and come into ourselves and come around teachings of truth, that are resonant truth and true teachers, there's this immediate sense of, oh, recognition. I know that. I knew that. That's true. I know that. And that's that the rabbis teach. That's the da'at elyon, that visceral knowing. It's like we are remembering, literally remembering our body of knowledge that our soul has. And that's why the Hasidic masters teach that when we're around teachings that are timeless, archetypal teachings, universal teachings, teachings that are speak
Cosmic truths.
Exactly.
Holy cosmic truths.
We get this vibration. We get this sense of knowing, like, yes, that's it. That gives me my soul view. That reminds me. It gives me a foothold, and that's what we'll be aiming for in this course.
You know, I think one of the reasons I love mystical teachings, I love them, and the ancient texts, is because I think that the journey of life, the purpose of life, and the journey of life was given to all people a long time ago, before doubt had a chance to grip.
Yeah.
Before arrogance had a chance to mature, before human beings had a chance to create a life purpose devoid of the role of God. Whereas the ancients put God first because they walked humbly on the earth, and they had a sense of being powerless and that all powerful.
That's
And
right.
so just from the archetype of power, they had everything in the right proportions. And so they kind of scripted the journey of life according to those proportions, that ratio, that I have very little power against this great power. So what is the journey of my power with this power?
Beautiful.
And as we look at life, it's all about learning how to utilize our power in harmony with this power, not to be consumed by it, but in harmony with it.
That's right.
But it came to us at a time when humanity was still humble on the earth.
Humanity, humus, humble. It's
Yes.
all, etymologically connected. And
Yes.
there are teachings in Kabbalah about God at our center. And our lives are the garment around, we're garments for God, for God's
Right.
different various faces. We're each a face of God. And so this hubris that you're talking about is, in a million ways right now, it's cracking. It is. And I think, to use one term, we're all in a kind of epidemic of global grief because things are cracking and shattering. There's this Kabbalistic, which we'll be talking about, a powerful Kabbalistic myth in this course, about the shattering of the vessels and what that means psychospiritually.
Yes.
And right now we're in this profound shattering.
Yes.
When our old belief systems and our old structures and our sense of security about how things work in the world, where the world is heading, where we're all going,
Yes.
all of that is falling away. It's falling asunder. It's shattering. And for each of us, I think this might be slightly different. For me, it's like, why are we up in the middle of the night? Why am I am up in the middle of the night when I consider the immense suffering, the bloodshed of innocent people, especially children and women right now. But for you, it might be climate chaos or the the rise of hatred and vitriol in the world, or the rise of anti-Semitism or Islamophobia or transphobia, fascist language. There's a million reasons. All of these
But
are
it's the eruption. It's just
Exactly.
the eruption. And it depends on what volcano you're in, but it is the eruption.
That's right. That's right.
And volcanoes are going to erupt because we're erupting.
Yeah.
We're erupting. We are the volcanic energy. We are the hot lava. We are, you know, what one of the shattering things that's happening is the illusion that we are separate from the whole. That somehow or other a war can happen here or a war can happen there, but it doesn't include us. That
Yes.
somehow our hostility has nothing to do with the hostility breaking out there.
And
That,
yet,
that I
we feel awful. And
I
why is that?
right.
What?
We've got to get that all life breathes together, that we are all responsible for the
Yes.
healing or the destruction of this world.
Yes. And one of the teachings in this course is about our soul, about what is a soul, and how there are different layers of the soul. The Zohar from the 13th century teaches that there are different layers of the soul, and one of the
Mm,
highest, they're like those Russian dolls that are
right. The
that are
Matryoshka,
envelop each other. Uh-huh.
Matryoshka dolls. Yeah.
And and uh and one layer, one of the highest, most evolved layers, is the collective soul,
That's right.
where we feel we are. I mean, we might be deluded, but we are all connected, which is why we are up in the middle of the night, why we suffer, why we have the diseases that we do, because we are suffering for each other. And
Oh my God, that is exactly the journey of Teresa of Avila. When she
mm,
transitioned from the third to the fourth mansion of the soul, and it
mm,
took her 20 years, and she was visited by an angel, and the angel had a flaming sword, a flaming arrow, and he
mm,
um, thrust it into her. And she said the agony and the ecstasy, but the point of it is what she wrote about, what she described was that I I could not make it to the depth of my soul at that level by myself. I could
gotcha.
not go unescorted. I had to be invited to the realm of what is in Catholic speak the heart of the sacred, in universal speak the
Mm,
cosmic sacred. And
mhm.
I deeply believe it's at this point that we make the transition from our love of power to the power of love. And as we make that transition, Tirsa,
Beautiful.
we start carrying wounds in us that are not ours. We
Yeah.
become of the impersonal cosmic heart, not impersonal, not caring, but actually we become the transcendent heart, the sacred heart. We carry what is not ours. We're past staying, but that's not mine. That's not mine. We
Right.
we
Okay. Okay. Now we're touching into, okay, beautiful, unscripted segue there, that we are passing into what's the medicine
Mhm,
for
mhm.
me? I'm asking, okay, what's the medicine for the malaise, for this sense of shattering, this sense of insecurity and unsafety? And now we're talking about ancestral healing, and we're talking about intergenerational. We're talking about looking through the lens, using Kabbalah to look through the lens of this bigger, this wider lens, to know what we already know,
Mhm.
that the events that are unfolding today are not about today. They have roots in generations past. They're ancient, and we're reaping the results, and that our current crises are like the tragic testimony, or like a proof text of these unresolved historical traumas that belong in time and belong to ancestors, unmetabolized pain that has gone beneath the surface but didn't go away and didn't evaporate. And so now, in this course, we're going to bring it back to this course. We're not here to solve the world's woes, but we are here to look at our own. How are we connected to all these things, and
Precisely.
to look at the collective unconscious, to look at our ancestral unconscious, to look at our families and our own ancestral lineages, to discover the legacies that are carried forth inside of us, and the kinds of both the positive and the negative legacies that we inherited. It's like we have come into 2023, we've come into this day and age, and we've inherited these things that cause us pain, and we must do this deep healing work of looking and facing and releasing these knots of pain that may be ours, but they correspond to something that happened before us.
And I deeply believe, because I think we have more than one lifetime. I think we have many lifetimes. So we have a physical gene pool and we have a mystical gene pool. We have mystical genetics and we have physical. So my physical genetics go back into Middle Europe, but my mystical genetics, where do they go?
That's
I
right.
don't know. They identify with all people.
Yes.
So the suffering on the world goes into it's my collective. I am part of the collective.
That's right.
I mean, but
and we'll be looking at what does the Kabbalah say about that precisely, that we have a biological family, but we also have a soul chain. We're connected to different chains of spiritual teachings, maybe more than one, that brings us here at this time to affect certain changes, to create a tikkun, to repair certain things that only we can come to repair through our learning, through our deep healing work on ourselves,
yes,
on our lives, on our families' lives. Because if we don't do this, if we don't do this ancestral work, it's like, have you ever felt there's like an undertow? You know, these things pull us down, our energy, our life force, our health is like impeded.
stuck.
So
Yes.
this work just gives a sense of release and revitalization. It's a really good. And the other thing about doing this course is that it's the end of this year. We get to look together. What the heck happened in 2023? We get to do a review. It ends on the solstice, which I love. We're going to do a solstice ritual together to do a year review, what we've gleaned, what we are taking with us into the new cycle. And it's very, very positive. It's very healing, this work.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Well, let's tell everybody that your beautiful course starts December 5th and runs every Tuesday and Thursday at, are you doing an hour or an hour and a half? What are you doing?
An hour and a half.
Okay, so I'll join you the last 10 minutes.
Would be awesome, like we did last time. I can't do justice in an hour. I mean, I would be cheating the work.
Right.
And the other thing I want to say is, like we said in the very beginning, this work is extremely experiential. Remember that we're learning these powerful psychospiritual maps, and we're also, every time, we're making it relevant to ourselves by going into our own pain body, our family legacies. We're looking at our own ethnicities and doing a lot of healing, lot of healing work, personal work.
And believe me, even in your first class, that was the commentaries. People just thrived in the class. It was like you offered people a well to drink from that had never been offered. I think that the classes, I went through them before, but I'm just going to quickly name the modules because they're so good. The first one is, what is Kabbalah, and how can it heal me? I mean, nobody's asked that. People don't ask that question. The second module, why is this world so broken? I mean, if you're not asking that question, you're not watching the news. The third, what is sacred fire and how can I ignite it for healing and not harming? I mean, that question alone is a dissertation. The fourth module, what are living waters and where have the waters of my life stopped flowing? Do you realize what a rich question that is? Who asks that? Where have the waters of my life stopped flowing? Well done, Tirzah. The next class, how do my ancestors bless or limit my sacred potential? So brilliant. And finally, you close with, what is the look of my soul's true face? I'm going to say that again. What is the look of my soul's true face? Welcoming the light back in ourselves and in the world. What a beautiful way to close this year.
Yes. And let me just say, we really need each other right now. I need to be in company of other spiritual seekers, even if it's on Zoom, especially on Zoom. Somehow that it just works well. Now, I know that it's This course is in the middle of the day to allow people from other countries to come, especially our European brothers and sisters. But please don't let that deter you.
What time does the course, what time is it listed?
I believe it's noon Central and 11 Mountain and 10 Pacific.
Oh,
So, it's like 1 o'clock Eastern. And
oh,
that
that's fabulous.
allows,
I didn't know that. That's fabulous.
well, it allows our European friends to come.
Oh my God, that's wonderful.
And I'm not sure about New Zealand and Australia, but we'll figure that out. But if you can't, take that noon break to dip into the deep waters and drink with us, then you can watch it online later.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Tirzah, I cannot wait to attend this class, as well as whatever little part I can contribute. And I will see you on December 5th. And to all of you listening, I just encourage you so much to join us this December for this brilliant, give yourself the gift of this class. Honestly, I think if my idea of a resolution is to resolve what you don't want to have come with you,
right,
and what you resolve to participate in a new thought form that empowers you. This to me is a true resolution.
Yes, we're going to be resolving a lot of
Yes.
And facing and unpacking a lot of junk.
Yep.
and resolving for a new cycle of life to bring light in where there has been darkness, and to
absolutely
bring in vitality and good health into this new cycle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear friend. I will see you on December 5th.
Okay.
And thank you, everybody. I hope to see most of you, all of you then too.